Alright, up until this point, we have... what have we done so far? We turned
Turned
on...
on your lights.
We connected our power, connected our air supply, turned on our lights. We turned on the lights with the master thing. We turned on our oxygen. We turned on this radio. And we got rid of this thing. Alright, what else?
Okay, so now we're going to start up your engine. So this is the B model, which means we have the digital engine readout. So underneath your instruments, above your left knee, is the engine indicating page.
Right here?
So left to right, you got RPM, exhaust gas temperature, and fuel flow. Really, the only one that's important is the RPM. So the way that it's going to work is when you start to crank an engine, a digital bar is going to start to raise from the bottom.
And you wait till it
We're,
gets to like the third mark and then...
it's 20%, but it's ready because a line will appear next to the indicator.
Oh, okay.
You'll see it when we're ready to go. So let's go ahead and crank the engine right. And I will look at that engine indicator.
Roger that.
You see the bars are starting to build. And on the next one, it should have the light next to it. There it is. When you see that light appears next to it, move the right throttle to idle. Now the engine will come on. It takes a bit of time. I would say it probably takes about 30 to 40 seconds for the engine to spin up.
Okay.
In that time, we'll do a couple other items. What's coming on? Let's say you want to have your ILS ready for if we were coming back to the boat. So to turn on your ILS, it is forward of your lights panel that we turned on earlier. So you see ahead of the position wing light, you have that panel there. The AR63, whatever. ARA63. That's what we're looking at there. So you have a power switch outboard.
That's this guy.
Yeah, and now we have to select what channel we're on. So right now we're on channel 1. Moose has ours usually set to 17.
17, so... Can it just keep going around? Okay.
It does, yeah. Alright. So looks like the engine is online. Let's go ahead and turn on the HUD, the HSI, and the VDI. Or HSD, sorry, not HSI. So on the right vertical panel, you have 3 switches. The ones rolled out horizontally. Power, VDI, HUD, HSD. No, look down more. There's 3 switches.
Gotcha.
Flip those 3 up. And that powers those on. At this point, we can contact ground crew to remove the ground electric power because the engine is now providing power to the aircraft. However, you need to turn on the hot mic for the ICS system, otherwise you will not hear the crew chief telling you when he's done the job. So to turn on the hot mic is going to be aft of your throttle. Actually, it's going to be after that. Alright, so you see the TACAN stuff? Look outboard from the TACAN, and you should see ICS panel.
Outboard from the TACAN?
Yeah, so you see where all the TACAN stuff is? That has a panel next to it.
Oh, ICS
Directly
panel.
outboard,
Yeah, okay.
ICS panel. You're going to move that to the middle position, hot mic. Now we'll be able to hear the crew chief. Keep in mind, when you're doing this in an SRS-enabled server, if you have a backseater, he will now hear your ICS comm hot. So if we're talking in Discord, you're going to echo to him
What's
because
the
he's going to hear it twice.
what's the difference here between the hot mic and what does that say? Oh, cold mic.
Cold mic. So cold mic is like push to talk. Hot mic is like Discord right now, where I don't have to hit anything. My mic is live. But the crew chief can only talk to you on hot mic.
Okay. So
So
wait,
now,
hot mic, you have to press a button.
yeah, it's
Cold mic, it just
automatically
picks
in.
you up.
No, hot mic is the mic's live. It's hot
Oh,
all the
okay,
time.
gotcha.
Cold mic is you got to press a button. Okay, so let's go ahead and contact the crew chief and tell him to disconnect the ground electric power. We're gonna keep the ground air supply for now, though.
Chief, turn off the ground power.
Now let's go ahead and let's bring the left engine online.
Ground power is now off.
And then rinse and repeat. When you see the extra bar appears, we crank the left engine, or we move the left engine into idle. Alright, and while that's doing that, I want to show you something because Jester might move too fast since we're doing an assisted startup. Look over at your displays panel, the right vertical panel. On your HSD, you will have the left switch says nav and TID. We're gonna move that from nav to TID. And now look at your middle screen, or your bottom middle screen.
Yeah, I have seen the thing
Your
where
Jester has turned that on.
the thing moves across.
Yeah, so each stage is a different alignment criteria. Obviously, usually we're just going to go for a full alignment.
Gotcha. Oh, it's doing
All
something.
right. Yeah, he just turned on the system. It usually takes a few minutes for it to power on. All right, so now we have both engines on. We can contact the crew chief and ask him to turn off the ground air supply. When he does that, you'll notice it gets quieter in your cockpit when it gets disconnected. You'll hear the air rushing go away.
Ground air supply is now
Oh, it sure
disconnected.
does.
So now we have to turn on the avionics cooling, and we need to take that from the engines. So on about your right hip, you'll see a panel right next to the seat with 5 buttons, air conditioning panel.
Yep. I
So
see
we're
it.
going to look for air source, and we're going to switch it to both engines, the fourth option. And you should hear air coming in again.
Yep.
So now you have air conditioning to the cockpit, and you also have a avionics cooling air to keep everything running smoothly. So
Cool. Very cool.
now on your left-hand side, we're going to turn on the SAS Stability Augmentation System. Very nice. That is a very rudimentary fly-by-wire system. The F-14 is a fly-by linkage like old aircraft,
Mm-hmm.
but this cleans up your input. It just makes it a little bit smoother. Some people to prefer to disconnect the roll SAS when getting into a dogfight. Some people even do it for coming in for carrier landings. I usually keep it on. I don't find it too much of an issue to deal with. Quickly going over an interaction. You have, I don't know if you have it binded, but on your stick you should have a autopilot disconnect lever. Paddle. Autopilot emergency disconnect paddle. That's what it's called. Second option.
Oh, there it is. Oh,
So I would put that to the paddle on your stick.
what are you doing, buddy? I use the paddle on my stick as wheel brakes.
Uh, mm,
I can put it to something else. Is it something
yeah.
you need to be able to like hold?
You don't need to hold it, but it's something I do hit every once in a while.
Okay. Well, I got somewhere I can put it. Right?
So look at your SAS again,
Down here?
and hit the autopilot disconnect panel.
Ah.
Yeah,
Neat.
so keep that in mind. That's going to kill 2 of your SAS. Now, it also has interactions with your actual autopilot, as you can imagine. So looking over at, it's just aft of the SAS. We'll quickly take a look at that. So you have 4 switches there that are your autopilot modes. Really, the only 2 you're ever going to use is altitude hold and the engage switch. The engage switch is attitude hold. So if you're slightly nose up, the aircraft will hold that pitch for you, unless you have altitude hold on.
Gotcha.
You need to always turn on that engage switch, though. You can't just turn on the altitude hold and keep the engage in the off position. So let's go ahead and turn on the altitude hold and the engage.
Turn on both.
Yep. So if you look now at your front, look down at your HSD, the middle screen. You should see autopilot ref light now lit up.
Yeah.
So to lock in what altitude you want to hold, you have to be about a vertical speed of 1,000 up or down, and then you press the nose wheel steering button,
Oh, okay.
and that locks in the altitude you want. Now, the F-14 is an old girl. She has issues with her autopilot at high speed. I'm talking transonic. So, about Mach 0.95 to really, it has issues at supersonic in general. But yeah, don't try to turn on the altitude hold past Mach 0.95 because it will start to oscillate. It will start to go up and down.
Okay.
Just that's how air is when it gets supersonic, and the F-14 is too old to compensate for it.
Understood.
Now, if you want to disconnect the autopilot, you have 2 options. Obviously, you have the disconnect lever, or you just switch the engage switch back to off, and it will automatically turn off any other systems.
Ah. All right.
Okay, back to your actual instruments needed for startup. Left of your altimeter, you have the radar altimeter. We'll set that to 400. This takes like 4 minutes to warm up. You'll hear a beep after a while. On your right-hand side, you have the HSI. It's inboard of your RWR. Above that, you have your standby altitude or attitude indicator. Just uncage it. I think you gotta right-click it. There you go. Outboard of your hook, you have your gun ammo counter. So we're gonna roll that up to 670. Try to remember to do this because the jet does not know how much ammo you have. So if you set it to 0 and take off, it will think you have 0. It will let you shoot, but you will not know how much you have.
Right.
Okay, what else we gotta do? Yeah, 2 more lights that are on. Those should be the CAC light. So, technically, you could wait to do this until you are ready to take off. Definitely do not do this on the boat until you're strapped onto the catapult. But we're gonna get your wings into the correct mode now. So, you got the throttle over there. You're gonna move this spider linkage, I think it's called. You're gonna move that all the way forward.
Just go straight all the way
All
forward.
the way forward. Oh,
Because the one video I watched said take it to 68, wait 10 seconds, and then.
I never wait. Just
All
full
right.
send it, and then click it to put it in the down lock position.
Click it.
Yeah, right click I think puts it into the down lock.
Ah, that's why I couldn't close this thing.
Yeah. So now the wings are gonna go out like that. We have to reset the FCS system. Because, as you can see, it still says it's in emergency mode.
Ready to taxi.
So,
Where does it say that? Sorry.
right of the master arm, you have the wing sweep indicator, and it shows what mode.
Right of the master arm.
Yeah, it's a gauge.
Indicator.
You're looking in the wrong area.
Looking in the wrong area.
Look
Where
up.
is my master arm?
It's on your main panel. It's got stripes.
Oh, hey, look at that. Yeah, it's right there.
So, right of that, you have the sweep indicator.
Mm-hmm.
So this has a lot of information. I'll go into it in a bit. But basically, you can see you're in emergency mode right now.
Right.
It's because the jet needs to be told to reset. So we're gonna reset the FCS. Now look down at your left vertical panel. There's your radar altimeter. So just above the yellow spider head thing, you have a button there. Just a single button.
Just above the yellow spider head thing.
Yeah, the wing sweep, the manual wing sweep that you move forward.
Oh, okay. Master
Yeah.
reset.
Master reset. Press that. Now, if you look back at the thing, it should say
Hey.
now it's in manual. We do not want it in manual right now. So this is why I said you usually do this when you're about to take the runway, and only when you're on the catapult, because as you can see, your wings are out.
Yeah.
So not good if you're
And she's a
next to
thick
someone.
bird.
Yeah. So on the ground, you can usually do this. Okay, let's go into how the wing sweep function works, because it's not super complicated, but you need to understand it. So looking
So
at the wing sweep,
basically, we're in like auto mode right now, right?
we're in manual right now
Oh,
because the jet has gone to the driven position of the spider handle. The spider handle needs to be in the forward position.
okay.
So you have your wing sweep buttons binded, right?
I have a wing sweep lever. Like,
Okay, no. So go into your controls. Go into the drop down menu for HOTAS or throttle, whichever Heapler's labeled it as. And you should have wing sweep 4 things.
wing sweep, aft, auto, bomb mode, forward.
So you're going to need all 4 of those. So the jet in real life, auto is up, forward is forward, aft is backwards, and bomb is downwards. On my Verpal throttle, you have kind of like a thumb button on the front right of the throttle. It's got like the twisty thing around it.
Mm-hmm.
I bind it onto that. So aft should be aft, forward, auto is up, bomb is downwards.
Okay.
You will be using these a good bit. They are very important.
So aft is aft.
Yeah.
And then
Auto should be up.
Bomb mode is down.
Down. And wing sweep forward is forward. I would clear your auto just to get rid of that double. Okay.
I don't know what that was, but
No.
auto is up. Okay.
Okay. So right now, look at your wing sweep gauge there on the right.
Wing sweep gauge on the right.
Right. So right now you're in manual. Hit up and to put it into auto, and you should see a change.
Hey.
So right now, okay. So this is where it's going to get a slightly complicated. Just zoom in all the way on that gauge. So you have the vertical white line that's going all the way up from 68 to 20 right now.
Mm-hmm.
That is the position of the wing. The triangle pointing right on the far left is the air data computer's preferred positioning of the wings. It is where it wants to put it in auto mode.
Okay.
it is based off Mach. The two squares on top of each other are the commanded position. So let's go ahead and let's move the wings aft. Let's move them to 40 degrees. So using your bomb, no, you don't use that lever ever. We're gonna use the buttons you set, the wing sweep aft. We're gonna move that to 40 degrees. So move until the two squares are at 40. There you go. So now your wings are at 40.
Okay.
You can see though that triangle is still at 20. Because that is where the air data computer wants the wings to be for optimum lift.
And we're back in manual right now.
We're in
Because
manual because we took control of the
we
wings.
took control.
These wings will not move from this position unless commanded due to Mach. So if you put it back into auto, or bring it back to 40, and then hit auto.
Hit auto.
Now hit bomb, which was down.
I see.
So now for bomb mode, it is going to drive it to 55 degrees, which you could look out the wing at the wings and see how far back they are now.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So this is for doing bombing runs and stuff, dive-in attacks, rocket attacks, all that kind of stuff. It just gives the wings, sweeps them back because it still allows you to have spoiler control without risking the wings being stuck in position. So let's go back in the first person and let's go all the way aft. And now the wings are all the way back.
Tucks them in.
But they're not in emergency yet. Because when you're parking the Tomcat, you want to put them into emergency oversweep. Because right now, if you go back to F2, you could see looking down at the airplane, the wings do not interfere with the stabilators. They will not hit. But if you look at, like, say, one of the parked Tomcats, and you look at it, you will see the wings actually are over the stabilators.
Yeah, okay.
So, the oversweep emergency thing, that's for parking. So, you don't ever really have to touch the manual lever. You could just work it through this.
What's
90%
the
of the...
oversweep? Where is the oversweep?
That's the yellow handle.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So
Okay.
if you want to do it right now, just to see how you do it, open the thing,
Pull
and
it
then you're
out
going to...
and
Yep.
then drag it back. Oh, it won't let me.
Put it back in.
Uh-oh.
No, right-click it, put it back in.
I'm trying. It won't do it.
Try dragging it forward.
There it goes.
Now drag it back. Right-click it.
Nope.
Try right-clicking it there. Now try to pull it back. Lift it up. And see if you can pull it back.
Nope.
Okay, it can be a bit fucking weird sometimes.
We're going this. We're just keeping
Okay,
it in like that right
just,
now.
yeah. Just hit the reset again, because it's back in emergency mode. And put it back in the auto. Okay, it's in auto.
Now there's rules with,
So,
like, you can't have flaps down, like when your wings sweep, right?
Yeah, the jet will take care of it.
Oh, it will.
Yeah, it will retract them. So you have two flaps in the F-14. You have the maneuvering flaps and the flaps. So let's go into your keybinds, and we're gonna look at the stick drop-down menu. HOTAS, whatever the fuck they call it, stick or HOTAS. It's probably stick though. All right, what do we got here? Okay, so we have DLC thumb wheel aft, DLC thumb wheel forward, and DLC toggle / countermeasure dispense. So you're gonna put something to DLC thumb wheel forward and something to DLC thumb wheel aft. Now, if you want to, you can make this an axis. I do that on my throttle, and I have you know, on the Virpil throttle, you have like the joystick. Then left of that, you have like a 4-way hat. And then left of that, you have like an up and down slider.
Yeah, I think I'll just put it to where I normally have the countermeasures. Yeah. Let's do that.
All right. So yeah, make sure you have forward and aft. And then yeah, make sure you also have the DLC toggle / countermeasure.
All right.
And what else can we do here? Oh,
I can go back in.
Yeah, let's go back into your stick real quick. Let's just make sure you get everything binded that we need now. Okay, so you have all that. Okay, so you got trigger. Okay, so let's go weapon select gun. Pick whatever you want gun to be.
Oh, I had it mapped. I had a up and down mapped, but I guess it cleared it. Do you think it's a good idea to just do up and down?
I do the actual gun thing. It's just like the Hornet. Bind it as if it was the Hornet. Although I don't know how you actually binded your Hornet. But yeah, you should have your gun. Should have Sidewinder, and then you have Sparrow / Phoenix.
All right.
And then weapon selector off.
I think I'll do this.
Ignore the press.
Sidewinder. Okay.
Okay. But yeah, just save that, and then we were talking about DLC and maneuvering flaps. All right, so look out at your wings right now, and you see they're up. Look at your left vertical panel, and above the landing gear handle, you have your gear and your flap slat indicator. It's the square box thing.
You know what? I don't think I ever found my landing gear. Gear up? Is that what that is? Yeah, gear?
Yeah, do gears.
Toggle.
Gears up, gear down.
Alright.
Alright,
Say
so
what you were saying.
okay, so look at that the flap indicator. So you see the slaps, you see the flaps, and you also have your speed brake and your gear positioning on that square there.
Right.
Here. Alright. So move the DLC thing that you did earlier. That you put on your countermeasures.
Forward?
Yeah. Hit that. Okay, maybe try aft. I don't remember
Oh, I
how
see
it
it.
is exactly. Alright, so hold that all the way down until it stops moving.
Okay.
All right. Now we're gonna look at the wings. And you see the maneuvering flaps have extended as well as the maneuvering slats. So you have a slight flaps down and all that. Now I want you to hit wing sweep bomb,
Wing sweep bomb.
which is down on your wing sweep.
Yes. I just do that. Oh,
And look at that, it goes up. It is magic.
I swear to God, I think Kiwi was saying that Chico fucked his F-14 the other day because he, like, I don't know, tried to sweep
Oh,
the wings without flaps or something. Oh.
you can certain times, and you can lock these flaps down if you overspeed them. They will break. So go back to wings auto. So while we're here, we'll quickly go over full flaps and DLC. So let's go ahead and drop full flaps. So that's not the maneuvering flaps, it is the actual flap lever.
The actual flap lever.
Yeah, so go back into the cockpit. Okay, you got them there. So you can see the flaps come down even further now. Now try to hit wings to bomb.
Gonna break my jet.
It shouldn't. It's just not going to do anything.
Okay. Yeah, it's not. Yep, it's not doing it.
Yep, because it can't. So put it back to auto. Alright, so now we're going to learn the... no, keep the flaps down. Okay, so now you know what your countermeasure button you set? DLC engage / countermeasure.
Yeah.
So hit that countermeasure button and look out at your wings. Your flaps are down.
Yep.
Yeah, they're down. Alright, you're hitting the right thing. Double check that you have countermeasure dispenser. Find it on your stick.
This thing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, nope. I didn't. That one up. All right. Oh, yeah, I wasn't hitting. All right. This way.
Alright, look at your wings and press the button. Hey, there's our DLC. Now move that DLC, no, keep looking at the wings. The DLC forward and aft button now.
All right.
So this is DLC direct lift control. The F-14 is a fat bitch, and she needs help slowing down sometimes because she makes so much lift. So you have DLC to help dump lift. It will deploy spoilers to destroy the lift on the wing, and you will start to descend very quickly, especially if you have that DLC all the way up.
Gotcha.
You have to be ready to catch the jet when you're doing this, because it helps you slow down, it helps you get onto speed, but you will drop like a rock if you're not paying attention.
Okay.
So DLC only enables when the flaps are down and the gear is down.
Okay.
With the gear and flaps up, it is a countermeasure dispenser button. However, it only dispenses one countermeasure. It either does chaff or flare. It is set by your Rio which one you are on,
Gotcha.
because the Rio is in charge of the countermeasures. So I usually have my Rio set me to flare, because with a radar guided missile he will take care of it. But but with a IR missile, it's usually close in my face, and I need to hit it as fast as I can.
Gotcha.
All right, that's pretty much everything I can think to talk about. So let's go ahead and bring the flaps up, and let's sweep the wings all the way back.
Bring the flaps up. Sweep the wings all the way back.
So yeah, just do it. If you're lazy, you could just hit bomb and then drive it the rest of the way back.
So is it, I guess, put the DLC or back in?
The DLC will automatically retract when you bring the flaps up.
Oh, okay.
Oh, other caveat about the DLC, it will auto stow if you go to mill in Afterburner. So DLC is part of your landing checklist. You need it for landing. So if you bolter, keep in mind it will go back stowed. Same thing with your speed brake. Your speed brake will automatically stow if you touch Afterburner.
Okay.
So do you have speed brake binded?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so the indicator is in that same gear flaps indicator that we looked at earlier. So if you touch it just a little bit, that is the middle one is the it's slightly out indicator. The full square is it's full out. And then the in.
Gotcha.
Quick thing to talk about the speed brake, it will not deploy above 500 knots.
Okay.
So if you're going fast, it will not come out.
All right. Good
It
to know.
cannot. Other thing, you're technically not supposed to do a fuel dump and have the speed brake out. That's real life. I don't care in DCS, but I will just mention it.
Fun information.
Yeah. It's just because the fuel dump is right between the engines and the speed brakes out disrupt the airflow. So it would make the fuel go crazy. It might accidentally go into the exhaust of the engines and ignite.
Gotcha.
Then you have what fucking Kiwi does, where he actually just puts on the fuel dump and hits the burners and big fucking fireball out the ass. Cool shit. Other quick thing to mention about the Tomcat, your afterburner is not metered on your fuel flow. So when you go into afterburner, your fuel flow is only accurate for the normal part of your engine. It's not going to display how much gas you're actually burning in afterburner.
Gotcha.
So you might only be like, oh, I'm only burning, 10,000 pounds an hour kind of thing. But you're actually burning way more than that because it is not going to show. And obviously your fuel quantity over there, pretty straightforward. I would just read the total thing. I don't really ever read the others. They're not necessarily needed. All right. It's called the ACM panel. It's the main panel in front of you. You have gun rate, sidewinder cool, and missile prep. So if you had missiles loaded on you, you would have to turn them all on. I always hit all of them, even if I'm not carrying missiles.
What,
The
Sidewinder
ACM,
missile?
yeah, the ACM switch on the left side. It's the left covered switch. It has your emergency jettison underneath.
Ah, okay.
There's technically like 4 ways to do an emergency jettison in this way, but yeah. Alright, so you know how to do the TACAN in this jet? It's your left hip. So you have the TACAN panel there. So it's a bit of an older system. Let's say we're going to the carrier. So we're going to set it to transmit receive. You're going to switch the channel to X-ray. And this is where this gets really funky and 2D. So you have that lever in the center, which is the ones. If you look on the inboard side of that weird case, there's the 10s. It is really weird to see.
What?
Okay, so you see the... No, keep looking at that thing. Where you actually put in the channel. So you see how it's raised above the rest of the panel. You might see on the inboard side of it, the side pointing towards you, it has, like, rigid edges.
Yeah.
That is the tens. So if you move your mouse over and hold it on the inboard
Okay.
side, you should see where the tens is. It makes sense if you're actually touching the thing, because you could just put your hand on top of it and roll the tens with your thumb. But as an actual 2D thing, it is really weird to look
Gotcha.
at.
Yeah.
All right, and now you have a TACAN. Your Rio also has a TACAN. So, how do you switch between whose TACAN has command? Well, if you look over near the ICS panel, aft of the ICS where the hot mic was, hot mic, cold mic switch, you have TACAN command. That's a little push button.
I see.
So let's go ahead and press that button. And he doesn't have his TACAN turned on because he hasn't set it to anything. But it would say NFO if it was set to the backseat.
Gotcha.
All right, that's pretty much everything you need to know. Your landing information is doing an overhead brake. You come in at 350 knots, 800 feet or 1,000 feet, depending on land or sea. In the brake, speed brake out, throttles to idle, 300 knots, wings to auto. Because you come in to the brake with your wings fully swept back. 270 is the gear. 220 is your flaps. And then once you're established downwind, with the flaps down, the gear down, you would put out your DLC, trim to on speed.
Why can I not equip these missiles?
They might just not
Might
have
just be
them.
bugged.
Might be. Try putting sparrows in there. Aim 7s. There you go.
Oh, now it's doing it. Right?
Alright. Okay, so quick thing to talk about that loadout. That is the Doomsday loadout. That is fucking full nuclear war with Russia. You cannot land on the boat if you don't shoot any of those missiles.
Yeah.
Even if you have almost no gas, you're too heavy. You cannot land with that loadout. A more realistic loadout, if I'm not expecting a huge fight, I'll do a 2-2 and 2. I'll take 2 Fox 1s, 2 Fox 2s, 2 Fox 3s. If I'm expecting a bit of a fight, I'll do 2-2-4.
So you do like
I
arrows
do,
here.
yeah, I do aim 7Ps on the shoulders. So let's just do a 2-2 and 2, just to keep your weight a bit more normal. So get rid of station 4 and 5. So the layout of the tunnel is a bit weird. Basically, 6 and 3 are your forward positions, 4 and 5 are your aft positions. It gets funky when you start to throw in sparrows, because you could just look at the station diagram, and you could see it's like 6-5-3-5-4-4. It gets funky with certain munitions. Certain loadouts also will not work. So, like, you can't say take a Sparrow in 4 and a Phoenix in 5. It just doesn't work that way. the way that the missiles are loaded does not work that way.
Gotcha.
But anyway, let's go with this loadout. Hit OK.
Request refueling. Request rearming. Copy.
So they'll load those on to you in a minute. Let's start to learn how to use Jester, because there's some stuff that you should do while you're on the ground. So you have the contextual menu. This will usually bring up things based on context. If you're doing air to ground, if you're doing air to air, it's usually helpful. But if it's what you want isn't on that page, we come to here. So now you have all the different things that you can do. So up top, you have the AN ARC 182 radio. That is radio 2. So let's enter that. Now, you have a couple options. You have monitor guard, use manual, use channel 1, tune manual, select channel, select mode, tune ATC, tune tactical. We do not care about 90% of these. The two that you're really going to use is tune tactical and tune ATC. So let's tune in the ATC. Now you have all the airfields that he can tune to. So let's go to Krasnodar.
Rearming complete.
Okay.
And he will tune to Kraz.
So he's on that radio.
Yeah, you can see on your right hand side above your RWR.
VHF.
Yeah, you have two radios, so the lower one is him.
Okay.
So you can see what your radio's on, and you can see what he's on. Radio 1 is your
can
radio.
I hear his VHF radio?
Yes.
Okay.
You can talk on his radio.
I
you
just can't tune
can... Yeah, you just can't tune it. You can talk on his radio, he can talk on your radio, you can hear each other. You just can't tune his radio.
Gotcha.
So, let's continue on with some more Jester fun stuff. So let's go back into the radio. So let's say you were going to take care of the radios, but you're going to be in an interflight. And let's say we want to use 305. So you'll go to tune manual.
Copy.
I think you went to the wrong thing.
Oh, I said use manual.
Tune manual. Alright, this is where you just literally tell them what you want. So if we were going to do 305.
Roger that.
And now if you look at the radios again, you see them tune in the 305. Now you're on your interflight.
Alright.
Now if there was a tanker, because I don't think there's a tanker flying around on this one, so tune tactical is not going to be very useful. But if you went into the radio, go to tune tac, number 8. It would list all the tankers, E3, stuff like that on this one. But it doesn't have it. But on our server, you'll see the name of the tanker, you'll see all that jazz. So, just leave the menu, but let's go back in. Beyond visual range, let's not worry about that right now. We'll skip within visual range, we'll skip air to ground. We'll come back to navigation after. Let's go into CMS and RWR for now. So right now we have to tell him to actually turn the countermeasure system on. So we're going to go to CMS mode at the very top. And we're going to select number 2.
You got it.
I think, actually, I couldn't read what it said. It was too blurry. What's the top one say?
Auto
It's just...
and manual.
Okay, and then Okay, actually, we want the number 1.
Yep.
Alright, so he will put out countermeasures. He'll put out chaff. He will not put out flares. Flares is going to be on you.
Okay.
This word Jester pisses me off sometimes. It's a countermeasure game. Okay, so we'll go back into countermeasures real quick. And let's set the chaff program on the right. I like to pick number 6 every time. I never set any other option. I
Okay.
just set 6. And now he's gonna put in the countermeasure program back there. It'll take him a minute. Don't spam him with commands because he might get tripped up and fucked. So, do you have waypoints in here? Just go
Nope.
back to your HSI, or switch back from your switch your bottom screen, the VSD, back to your thing. So let's stop looking at his screen. Let's just make sure.
Back to nav.
Yeah, to nav. Yeah, it doesn't look like you have waypoints. All right, so this register is actually pretty nice. Let's go ahead and open your F10 menu. And let's say we want to go to Kobuleti, down south. So you know how to make a marker?
It's one of these.
Should be like a circle icon.
Mark label.
No, I think it's more right of where you are right now. I can't read it because it's just too blurry.
Bullseye reference. I see mark label.
I see it. It's the third from the left.
Okay.
Now click that onto Kobuleti. Now you can click underneath new call sign. You could write text there. So let's say just write Cobb. And then click off of it. Now we go back into the cockpit. So now let's open up Jester. Now we go into navigation. We're going to do steer point from map, option 4. We're going to pick waypoint 1 as the new waypoint we want to create. And now we're going to pick Cobb. And now if you switch the HSD back to the VDI, or the TID, you can see him entering the coordinates in.
Great.
Now let's switch back to the nav mode. I would keybind all that fucking shit to switch between it. And now you can see you have steering information.
Look at that.
That is one of the better things about Jester is he's super fucking easy to do waypoints. And other people can make them for you. So if I know where the target is and I put it down, you can tell your Jester to enter it.
That's fucking rad.
It is really cool, actually. Alright, let's go back into the Jester menu.
I'm gonna have to pause this listen. Because I really want to just fucking try to take off in this thing. And
Okay.
I'm gonna be going to bed shortly after that. So.
Yeah, no problem.
But I'm sure I have a parking brake somewhere.
Yes, you do. It's left of the gear handle.
Thing.
Nope.
Oh, the giant fucking brake thing.
Yeah. So make sure your nose of steering's on. Let's start going. So this thing has like, you know, when the Hornet knows while steering high,
Yeah.
it has that all the time.
Oh, okay.
So it should taxi it to the left from here. I mean, we're forgetting the taxi light, but it's daytime. We can see pretty well, so it's okay.
You and your taxi light.
I like to follow the rules when I can. So I like to start the rotate at about 150.
150. Is my speed on the left.
It's the top right on the left side.
Up, right. Of the HUD or?
You think you get airspeed in the HUD?
Oh, you don't?
No.
Okay, you don't. Okay, it's this guy.
That's your thing. The HUD, the left one is your vertical speed, the right one is your radar altimeter. Welcome to the F-14.
Alright.
The HUD is next to useless. So you're pretty much about to take the runway. Let's get those wings out. Drop the maneuvering flaps.
The maneuvering flaps, which are these ones.
Nope, that's your flaps.
Okay, what's... Alright.
The DLC thing that we were doing earlier.
Drop them, you said?
Yeah, lower the maneuvering flaps. So whatever you were hitting to like bring the DLC
Okay,
up and
there
down,
we
you
go.
move the maneuvering flaps down.
It's like that.
Yeah, that's what you want.
Alright.
Alright, let's take the runway. Let's turn the anti-skid on as well once you're on the runway. F-14's weird, you actually taxi with the anti-skid off. You only turn it on when you're getting ready for takeoff. And obviously not at all on the boat. Alright, so anti-skid is left of that reset button that we hit earlier. You got anti-skid and spoiler brake. Hit the switch to both. Now look out at your wings. And there's your anti-skids. Put your brakes on. And then add a little bit of power. And you should see them automatically retract.
Oh, alright.
They only deploy when you're in idle. They help you slow down.
Gotcha.
You have more actually, but they're in a weird mode. Like move your stick all the way right.
You have a lot of different control surfaces in this jet.
Fun fact, you don't have ailerons.
Oh.
You have spoilers. So move your stick all the way to the right, and you should see the other spoilers starting to come out. Maybe we're in the wrong mode. We'll probably deploy once we're in the air. Because you have outboard spoilers. I don't know why they're not deploying. Alright, anyway, let's get our fucking scent. Brakes on, run it up to 80.
RPM over here.
No.
Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, it's down there. That's where it is. Oh, so I'm way more than 80 right now. This is
Okay.
80. Alright.
Yeah, she looks good. Brakes off, start the roller. 150 knots, gently. No AB, by the way.
No AV.
No, you do not do an afterburner takeoff in this. You will overspeed the gear.
150.
Not yet. There's 150. And easy with the stick. Gear up. Maneuvering flaps up.
Maneuvering flaps up. Like that. Okay.
Might have to pull the power a little bit. Check the gear light. Make sure your gear's up. Still in transition, gears up. You're good. Now you're unrestricted.
Okay. My nose is down a lot. There we go.
Yeah, so if this thing has fucking massive engines. If you do an afterburner takeoff with it, the gear will not retract in time. But mil in this thing is more than enough to get it airborne. Even on the aircraft carrier, you don't use afterburner.
Oh, would you look at this thing? I just plugged the burner.
Yep. So if you want to change your HUD mode, let's put it in the cruise.
Well, I'm climbing,
So-
baby.
Oh yeah, let's get it in the cruise so you can get some of the useless shit off the HUD.
So, what is that down here?
Yeah, the next option. So now it just gives you a bar at 30 degrees. Now, keep in mind, when you're trying to fly straight and level, your aircraft wing icon might not be perfect with the horizon.
Copy.
Because this is an older bird. So you're gonna have to look at your vertical speed indicator a lot to figure out if you're climbing or not.
Where?
Which is the top left icon.
Top left.
Yeah.
This AOA?
So you're on left of your airspeed.
Left of my ears.
So you're climbing at 2,000 feet a minute right now.
This thing?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's your vertical speed. Tells you if you're climbing, diving, straight and level.
Oh,
So you want to try to keep that, at 0 when you're at the altitude you want.
gotcha. Okay. Nice.
Yeah, as a pilot, that thing is going to eat 90% of your attention. Because this is just a constant battle of trimming. And you're accelerating right now, so you started to hit your Mach scheduling. So you could see that even though the wings are in auto, they're swept back.
Yeah. Okay.
And you can see it on the wing sweep indicator. That the triangle has moved down now. Because it is locked to that. It will not allow it to go forward. You can put it in the manual and try to move it forward. It will not let you.
Well, this is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My altitude right now.
25,300.
Well, only one thing to do here.
I should probably told you where your G is, so that you know when you're pulling too hard. So it's left of the hook, right below the RWR. That's your G meter.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of like the A10 where it has like an upper and lower max hold so far into the flight. So at the moment you've pulled about 4 Gs.
So I switched on the gun.
Yeah, so you need to get the air-to-air symbology first. So we're going to switch to air-to-air display. And then you switch the master arm up and on. And now the gun's live.
That's great. That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll fuck with this some more for sure. But for now, I'm gonna plow into the freaking sea. That's what I'm gonna do.
Well, why don't you try a landing?
Not a landing.
Yeah.
Think I
See how
can
you
get
do.
back to where I came from?
I mean, there's probably an airbase nearby. Just check F10. Yeah, there you go. There's some directly west of you. So let's get out of air to air. Let's go into landing display. The very last one. Cage your master arm as well.
Page my master.
And you'd want to hit the gun into the off position. So the landing one is just like the takeoff one, except you get a velocity vector with the world's worst update rate. Do not over rely on it. It takes like a little long to update, so it can be wrong sometimes. Like
That's
you
just
can
fucked.
use it and let it help you, but just understand that it might be incorrect sometimes. All right, you're going pretty fast. Let's maybe throttle back and start finding this airfield.
Oh, there it is.
Okay, so let's just do a straight in. So figure out what direction the runway's in, line yourself up. Wings you aren't going to want in auto, and you're going to want them fully forward.
Manual fully forward.
No, auto will take care of it.
You do want it.
You're fast right now, so the scheduling is not letting you. It'll keep creeping forward, as you can see though, as you slow down. So you don't have to do it yet, just once you're ready to turn on for final. Below 250 gear and flaps. It's technically 270 gear, 220 flaps, but
Below
250 works.
250, you said?
Yeah, just use 250 if you want to be a nerd, 270 and
Flaps and
220.
gear, as in these flaps?
Yeah, landing flaps. Those flaps are only used for landing.
These flaps, right here.
Yeah,
Alright.
yeah. The flaps. They're only used for landing.
Alright.
And will carrier launch.
Do I do other flaps or just...
No, you don't need to. Flaps overrides maneuvering flaps, but maneuvering flaps only go down a few degrees, whereas flaps are full flap.
Is there a certain AOA I'm shooting for?
You'll have an AOA bracket, just like the F-18.
On the HUD?
Yep.
Okay.
And you'll also have the AOA indexer light on the outside as well. You'll see it. Fun fact though, the E bracket is not onto the velocity vector like the F-18. It's onto your water line indicator, which is the kind of the aircraft wing icon that you have all the time. So have fun having to look at two different things instead of just one. When you're coming in, ignore the AOA bracket on the HUD and use the AOA indexer. It's going to be left of like your nose with steering light box. Up more. It's the left one there, the smaller one. That's going to be your AOA indexer. So fly off that. Don't look at the one in the HUD. Because the one in the HUD has like I said, it has an update issue. It's slow. Because you could just see if you throw the stick around real quick, you see how long it takes for the HUD to actually like show what you're doing.
It is really hard to judge how fast I'm going out here.
Well, that's where you look at your airspeed. You're doing about 260.
260.
260, 270. Yeah, 270.
Am I reading this wrong?
The outer one is Mach.
Oh,
The inner one is airspeed.
Yeah, I am reading this wrong. Okay, inner one is airspeed.
Or knots.
I see. I see.
The outer one, by the way, Mach, it moves. So keep that in mind. Because at this altitude, yeah, 300 knots is like Mach 0.6. But up high, 300 knots might be Mach 2.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind that the outer one will change. It rotates.
Okay. So I'm at about 200 right now.
250.
250.
But you're getting low.
In that case, I will go flaps out. Gear down. She's
Right, speed breakout.
pulling down. Speed
Yeah.
breakout.
Yeah, you got to start trimming it like the F-18. Nose, start trimming nose up, throttle back, DLC when you're ready. So you're gonna press the DLC engage.
DLC engage. Okay.
500.
Engaged it.
Okay. Now start
400.
trimming her. Keep trimming nose up. It's flashing because you're technically in carrier mode, so it's angry about the hook. Just ignore it.
Gotcha.
You're slow. Trim back down, add a little power. And it's a Navy jet, so no flare. Just slam her. Pull back on the stick, full brake. If you look at your wings, you should see your all your spoilers deployed now. Yeah, there they all are. This thing stops fast. I love it.
Yeah. That sure did.
Well, she's 70,000 pounds,
Yeah.
and she's got all those spoilers. She slows quick. You don't even need brakes sometimes. I've come to first exit sometimes just by using full back on the stick and the spoilers out.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, she stops very quick. It's very nice.
Oh, that was great. Thank
There
you for
you
the
go.
listen.
You survived your first landing.
Wow. I'm surprised.
No, you have a very experienced pilot. So let's go flaps up before you someone makes fun of you. Don't forget your speed brake.
Flaps up, or someone makes fun of me. That's gonna stow all that shit. Speed brake down.
And I would just put the wings to bomb.
Wings to bomb.
I would usually hit bomb and then manually drive it to 68. And voila. The F-14.
The F-14.
Yeah.
Oh, that was cool.
Yeah. It's pretty good. And then you'd want to turn your anti-skid off now. So switch to the off position because it acts weird on land. And then drive the flaps or the wings to 68 using the manual.
Wings to 60. Like, oh, okay, I gotcha. Nice.
Nice.
That's fucking hot.
Yeah, and you look like a professional Tomcat pilot. I will call you Tom Cruise.
Thank you. I do consider myself to be, the best.
Yep.
I think
No,
everybody does.
I'm happy to be of assistance for you.
I appreciate it. I really do.
I'm always happy to get more people to convert to the Tomcat.
I was referencing certain videos that will remain unnamed.
Oh Lord, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, were they any good, or was I better?
You were certainly better, but there's some of the stuff that was in there. But
Well, they'll give you the basic stuff. I'm gonna give you everything you need to know.
yep.
Next time, maybe we'll do this on our actual server. I'll even jump in the back seat for you.
Hot.
Although I will need to teach you Jester. Jester is a very powerful tool, but you need to know how to work him.
Seems pretty intuitive. I just gotta.
He's had years of
with it.
updates. He's okay. I will take him into even APAF missions. Like he's not bad, but he does have some shortcomings, and definitely having an actual Rio is if you once you fly with an actual Rio, you're gonna be like, oh my god, I don't want to fly with Jester again.
Yeah.
Because an actual Rio is so fucking kick ass, especially when you have a guy who knows what he's doing.
Yeah, we'll have to do that shit.
Yeah, I could teach you Rio at some point if you're interested. I know Salsa is learning Rio, but he wants to pilot it. I prefer to pilot, but I Rio as well when needed. It's yeah, it's kind of just for anyone.
Very nice, dude. Thank you.
I would, yeah. No, I'm happy to help. I'll be around tomorrow.
Sounds good. I'll see you then.
Yeah, either we could do some Tomcat stuff before the mission or whatever.
Yeah, I think I've got. I don't know what I want to do. Well, we'll see. I'll give a briefing.
Yeah.
All right.
But
Later, dude.
yeah, no problem.
Have
See
a
ya.
good night.